Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with the one and only Claressa Shields. Claressa, thank you for getting on the phone and doing the call. How are you?
I'm good, and you're welcome. I'm good, though. You know, I'm enjoying this good quarantine life. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I was just saying, it feels like boxers don't really, like, this may not be anything too new for you guys, because when you're in camp training, you are a bit isolated, and you're not going out, you're not doing much, you're literally going to the gym and back to your house. So I imagine it's probably not too far off.
Yeah, for some fighters, you know, some fighters travel with large entourages all the time and security guards and stuff like that. But, like, for me, when I'm in the gym, especially when I'm in camp,
Yeah.
it's me, my coach, and my boyfriend. So I'm not really, like, a person to be around a lot of people anyway, except for when I go to, like, actual, like, other people boxing matches, and everybody like, oh, she's so like, you know, she's so social and she's out here. But in reality, that's not even who I am. I'm more of, like, to myself and just like to be, like, low key.
What has been your moment when you realized that we're really on a lockdown? Like, mine was not being able to because there's like this chiropractic place out here, and I like to just go, you can just walk in. And I was grabbing my things, like, I'm just going to go see the chiropractor because my back was hurting. And then it dawned on me, oh my God, they're closed. Like, it was one of those moments. So what was your moment?
Well, I was actually in Spain, and they put the whole country on lockdown.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, and they had shut down the schools, and then after the country went on lockdown, then Trump says, in 24 hours we won't be allowing any flights from Europe to come back into the U.S. So I was like, I have to get the hell out of here. That's when I was like, oh, wow. And then I got here to the U.S. And this is back when they hadn't even taken it serious yet. They were still saying, oh, it's only in Italy, it's only in Spain, blah, blah, blah. But then it ended up happening, like they started, you know, shutting down things in Michigan. Well, yeah, they started shutting down things in Michigan and saying, like, no groups larger than 100, then 50, then 10. And it was like, okay, they just start shutting down everything.
Yeah, I would imagine it's a scary time. So I was going to ask you about the return back. So it wasn't as intense and crazy coming home, like with the testing or anything like that. Not yet, at least.
No, it was regular. Like, I didn't get any testing, but, you know, from me being in Spain and just watching the news, and when I did start my flights back to, you know, back to the U.S., I was just so aware. Like, I had, like, my little scarf around my face, but even when I didn't, it just seemed like a lot of people were sick on the planes. You know what I mean? Like, people were coughing, and I'm not gonna say that everybody that was coughing had the coronavirus, but I was just like, cover your mouth. You know, because it was like, this is like this serious. And it was actually a moment on the plane that happened to me, and that freaked me out, you know, throughout this whole coronavirus thing. I was walking to the front because I was first class, and I was walking, you know, it was like two entrances. So I walked to the wrong side. And when I turned around to go back down and, you know, just to go around, a lady, I mean, she was about right here, and she just coughed.
Oh!
And I tell you, she looked at me crazy because I jumped back like this, and I was like, whoa, like I'm trying to dodge invisible germs. And I'm like, whoa. And she looked at me, and like it was okay that she coughed. And I was like, no. And I went back to my seat, and I would just put my little mask on, and I was just paranoid the whole time, like, Lord, I just want to get home and get inside my house, and that's it. So, funny story. I try not to watch my boxing matches, especially being in isolation, because it just gets me so excited. Not just my boxing matches, but other boxing matches. Like, I haven't watched one single fight since we've been in isolation. And the other day, you know, was my anniversary of becoming an undisputed champ against Hammer. And everybody's sending me the link. Everybody's saying happy anniversary and all this other stuff. And I just made like a little post on Instagram and just left it there. Like, you know what, whatever. I don't want to get too much into it. But after, like the link gets into you like so many times, I was like, let me rewatch the fight with Hammer. And I rewatched the fight, and I just remember like I was actually sitting here on my beanbag, and I just remember I think it was seventh, eighth round when I knocked the mouthpiece out. And I just jumped up like, yeah, don't ever talk shit to me, ever. And now everybody was like, yo, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, I just got hyped, my bad.
It was like you weren't even there, you were just watching it on TV. That's cool.
Exactly. So it was just like, yeah, no more watching boxing matches while in isolation, because I just was like, I went upstairs, started punching my boyfriend and stuff like, yeah, you got something to say? He just was like, dude, calm down. I'm just like, my bad, I'm
You
tripping.
know what? I'm curious, like, speaking of that, like when you're in the moment, right? When you're in the ring, you've just won. You've made history in so many ways, not only just as a woman in boxing, but boxing in general. Do you ever find that while you're in the moment, you don't really feel anything, or are you really in it in that moment?
I try to be in those moments because my one loss in the amateurs is the only fight where I wasn't in that moment. Like, where I kind of felt like everything was a routine and it wasn't, every day is not the same. But when I was younger, I felt like, oh, it's just another fight,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of getting in the ring. And before I knew it, like the bell was ringing for first round, and then the bell was ringing to end the round. And I would never know what happened in some of my fights because I was never in those moments. But the time I recall the most where I just wasn't in the moment period was the fight against Marshall. And from that fight on period, I always like, have a conversation with myself like, hey, you know how many hours you have till the fight. You know who you're fighting. You know where you're at. You know what's on the line. And I'm always able to be in those moments and not think in the past and not think in the future, but just think about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I do that leading up to the ring. Like people say, what are you thinking when you go into the ring or when you're doing your ring walk? People know I dance, but right before the ring walk, I'm pacing back and forth and I'm like, hey, Claressa, you know it's about to happen, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, what? And I'm like, I'm getting ready to go inside the ring and fight against, my last fight, Ivana Habazin.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, okay, what are you fighting for? And I'm like, fighting to become a 3-time division world champion. You know that within 10 minutes, you're going to be in the ring fighting, right? And I'm just answering myself in my head like, yeah, like it's almost like sarcasm, but it's almost like me checking myself, like, make sure you know what's going on. So that's kind of how I've always, um, that's how I've been since my first and only loss when I was 17. So I'm always in a moment, always. Take it round by round, second by second.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You said that you spar men.
Yeah.
I feel like you're getting more from it. You're getting more from that sparring session. Like, I found that incredible. I had no idea you did that.
Yeah. I've been doing that since I was younger. My coach, Jason Crutchfield at the time, used to have a spar, and he would call them marathons, and that's basically round robin. And actually, back in the day, even though it's a round robin, like you get in, you get out, everybody used to get out, and I used to stay in all the time. I mean, I even think he has footage of where he put me in a corner and he had two guys punching at me. He like, have your defense, pick which one you're gonna hit, figure out what you gotta think about fighting both of them. And I'm like, both of these guys, both my size. One was a little bit taller. They're both strong. One had a good uppercut. The other got a good freaking left hand. And I was in the corner fighting damn near for my life against both of them. And it didn't feel like I was fighting for my life. It felt like I had my moments, and I always felt like I always came out on top. And I'm like, if I can come out on top with two guys punching at me and figuring out who to punch, how to make this guy miss, and they're both trying to attack me at the same time, I know damn well, first of all, a guy boxing me one-on-one is going to be a problem, but especially for a female.
Mm.
And but my first boxing coach just put me through hell when I was a kid. And I was a hard worker, and I never complained about any of it because I knew where it would get me. But that's when I knew I was passionate about boxing. When the guys start getting off on me in the age of 15, 16,
Mm-hmm.
and sparring, and I would get so mad after. And my coach used to have us hug after we sparred, and it was sometime where I was like, hell no, I'm not hugging him. No, he bust my lip. And I remember my coach having to talk with me one time, and he said, Rest, you done bust dudes' lips down here. You done black guys' eye. You done bust their nose. You done cut their face. And you throwing a temper tantrum because somebody punched you in your little lip. He just was like, please get over yourself. You know, he was more of like, look, know that as much, you got to be able to take what you dish out. So just because, you know, this guy, you feel like this guy beat you in sparring, he just was like, there is no winners or losers in sparring, you know, and it took me a while to understand that because I wasn't getting any fights in the amateurs. So it was like sparring was my fights. That's what satisfied me. So when I finally had to look at sparring as practice and look at sparring as a chance to get better, that's when I was able to not take it so seriously. But I still don't like losing to anybody in sparring or losing in a fight still.
Why boxing? Like when you were a young girl, what was it about boxing that drew you in?
I think it was just the imano term, you know. Me against you, you know, nobody to protect you, nobody to protect me, and it's one-on-one. And I had played basketball, volleyball, softball, and I ran cross country and track and stuff, and it was like I would win all my track races, but we still wouldn't get first place as a team trophy, you know, because the other events didn't do so well. And that used to aggravate me. You know, I just be like, I did all this work. I won the 400. I won the 200. I won the 1600 where you got to run the mile. And I'm just like, but we still don't have enough points to where we're first place because I have to depend on other people, you know. And that just for me was like, you know what? I'm sick of, you know, team sports. But when I went to the gym and I saw two guys in the ring sparring, I just said to myself, man, I know I can do that. And I remember saying that, and the coach Jason Crutchfield was like, "You don't know nothing about no boxing." And I was like, "Nah, I don't, but I know how to fight."
Yeah. So you've obviously done so much in your career, and you're not even nearly being finished with it. You're just basically getting started at this point. But you have like a movie being done about your life. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Claressa Shields is popping. Um, the movie is being done by Universal
Okay.
Studios. The writer is Barry Jenkins. I think the producer is Rachel Morrison. Ice Cube is playing my boxing coach, Jason
Oh, nice.
Crutchfield. Ryan Destiny is playing me,
Uh-huh.
and she's famous from Star and a few other movies that's out. And yeah, I saw the script and I've talked with Barry Jenkins about it, and yeah, you know, I think we're gonna win an Oscar. They really captured just the inside of my mind. And people always, you know, judge us from the outside of, oh, she's strong, she's outspoken, and she's arrogant, whatever they want to call it, and or I guess overconfident. But really, I'm just a extremely hard worker, a person who come from nothing, and now that I have everything, I kind of, you know, don't let people forget where I come from and why I'm so hungry for boxing and why I want to win.
Let's take it back to that point. You know, you are from Flint. It's a rough city. It's a rough city, and I just want to talk a bit about what life was like for you growing up, and you know, sort of the adversities you had to overcome.
Too many. And that's where I think people get it all wrong at. You know, like I grew up, I didn't have a bed to sleep on till I qualified for the Olympics and bought my own bed. Um, this is when the Olympic trials actually, you know, I didn't have my mom abused alcohol growing up, and I was just a mad kid. You know, I had been sexually abused at a very young age. from there, it just like I didn't trust nobody. I didn't like nobody. And I used to tell people all the time, like, I don't really like people. And people used to be like, what you mean? I'm like, I don't like people. Like, I get what you don't understand about that.
Mhm.
And you know, just growing up and having eyes always on me, being a female fighter. I think my dream of boxing is what my dream to become an Olympic champ is what made me focus on just boxing and not focus on all the hardship that I was going through. You know, I would go to school and wouldn't have on any nice clothes, and you know, some of my stuff would be dirty from the week before, and I really wasn't eating a lot, and people would talk about my hair, talk about you know my clothes, talk about my shoes, and the only time I ever got complimented on anything that was you know was me was when I was at the gym. You know, when I would get judged for sweating a lot during the track practices, you know, from working hard. But then I would go to the boxing gym and have my coach just be like, "Yeah, you sweating, you working hard, good job, and you're learning this, you're learning very well." Just to be complimented and to be appreciated. So, um, you know, I just grew up without having a lot, and I think that I just couldn't wait to get grown because I knew I would have to take care of myself, take care of my mom, take care of my family, and I just wanted money to do that. It wasn't really money for materialistic things, but I grew up without having a lot, and then you know, I just remember being hungry all the time, and it wasn't just hungry for food, but hungry for food, hungry to for attention, hungry to be loved, hungry to be to feel important, and I never felt that growing up. And I felt it a little bit from my dad and my mom, you know, when she finally stopped being addicted to alcohol. And, you know, she would, you know, we would have our talks here and there. But my grandmother just the one that instilled so much in me, you know, like I was a big crybaby and I probably still am, but nobody knows that much. And my grandma just is where the hard exterior come from. You know, she didn't accept weaknesses. You know, if I had a bad day at the gym, and I would go to my grandma's house, who was right down the street, and she'd be like, you know, what's wrong? And I'd be like, nothing. And she'd be like, well, you'll be all right tomorrow. Suck it up. It's all right. You know, it just was a lot that I had to deal with growing up. And I'm actually writing a book to put it all in there, but I could go on and on about the things that I experienced as a child that makes me be so stern and be such a hard worker,
But
you
it's
know,
so
right now. But
important. It's so important for people to know that side because you have so much resilience. And the thing is, there are a lot of people. I too was sexually abused growing up, so I can't understand that. That in itself is
mhm,
a really big battle. Like a lot comes with that. You know what I'm saying? To your
mhm.
relationships, to your trust, to um, met your mental state. I mean, you're questioning everything and everyone, right? Their motives. But like it's important to talk about that a bit, especially if you've overcome it, you feel okay speaking about it, because there are people who are still sitting there. There are young girls who are searching for videos of you, who are buying your books, who are going to go watch your movie, and who might be going through the exact same thing you're going through, that I went through. And if they could see that people have come out of it and done something from their lives, then you just saying that right now just inspired someone to be like, she did it, I can do it. It's not impossible to do it. Because as you know better than anybody, your environment is everything when it comes to like building self-esteem and that confidence. So like, I don't know. I can completely understand. Like that's, you know, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of how far you've come.
Oh,
But
thank you.
you've had to, I mean, for crying out loud, for you to say like you didn't even have a bed to sleep on just before you went to, I mean, that's deep, Claressa. Like that's like, I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just know that, you know, I always try to let people know, like, you know, I'm not a victim of anything. You know, I had a tough upbringing,
No, but
but
you a
that's where the
survivor.
tough exterior come from. You know, people don't oh, I never met a girl like you. You're so mean, and why are you so serious and all this stuff. And I just be like, people really don't know that, like where I came from. If I would have been any other way, I wouldn't have made it this far. So, Flint embraces me now, but I know that it's hard to grow up where I grew up at, and it's hard to make it mentally, because you can have all the physical gifts in the world, but if you get stuck in a certain place in a certain time, you can be stuck there forever, and you can never outgrow that. So I've been able to outgrow a lot of situations, a lot of feelings, and a lot of things that was done to me, and I'm able to be like, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. I'm an overcomer. I'm ambitious. I'm resilient. I'm able to say those words and know that they're true about myself, and know that other people can do it. And something that somebody told me, and that I continue to tell other people. Just because you're raped or sexually abused, it's not an excuse, to not become something. And you let your abuser win when you keep using them as an excuse. Oh, because I was raped, I'm angry and I hate everybody. Oh, because I was sexually abused, I don't trust nobody. I'm not going to run track or do what I love, and you giving that person too much power over your life. So I always try to tell people, like, don't give that person that much power over you. And the person who sexually abused you, when they see you become famous, when they see you making it, they're going to be looking at themselves in the mirror, and they're going to, have that look at themselves like, wow, I didn't break her.
Break them. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what their goal is at the time of them doing these, stupid things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a control game.
Yeah, for sure. But, overall, I try to tell people, like, leave it there. Leave it in the past. There's nothing wrong with, you can tell people that happened to you, but don't stay in that time space. Like, it happened to me. I had to live with it. I dealt with it. I overcame it. I'm blessed by the grace of God.
You have to be willing, in order to become a survivor, you have to be willing to forgive them even if they haven't asked for it.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
True that.
Because they
And
ain't
you're
gonna
really
ask.
forgiving them for yourself. You're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for yourself.
But I do see, whereas now, you're snappy, you gonna let someone have it if they say something to you. I totally get that, because a lot of times my friends say about me, they're like, damn, you're tough love. Like, they'll say something about, oh, my heart got broken. And I'm like, well, now you know he ain't the one. Let's move on. You know what I mean? Like,
That's it.
he ain't the one. Let's keep it pushing. There's no reason to cry about it. So I do understand, that exterior of being like, because when you've been through so much and then you hear about other things, they seem so minimal in the grand scheme of what you've already had to overcome.
Yeah.
You are the queen of trolling the trolls. You troll the trolls. Like, they think they're coming with something slick, and then you find a way to make them look stupid.
You know what? I went live the other day, and I'm like, I'm going live with the haters, Tune in.
Bring them in, baby.
And it was my first time doing that, because I blocked so many accounts and stuff, but I just like, I'm getting, I want to hear what they got to say. And I went live with them, and they go live, and the first thing they got my live, they're like, oh yeah, Laila Ali's going to smash you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad you think that. So why do you think that? They're like, she got too much experience for you. I mean, she Muhammad Ali daughter, and they saying all this stuff. And I'm like, how many years of boxing she got experience? They're like, I don't know, but she got more than you. And I'm like, she started boxing when she was 20, and she retired when she was 29. I started boxing when I was 11, and I'm 25 right now, still boxing. That's 14 years compared to 9. So who got more experience?
Yeah.
He like, oh yeah, I ain't know that. I said, okay, what's next? He go, well, she is way, she way taller than you and bigger than you. I said, how tall am I? He said, you about 5'6". I said, no, I'm not. I'm 5'9", 5'10" with some good shoes on, sir. So no, he like, oh, I didn't know that. I said, all right, but And then I finally just had to hit him with, "What's your favorite fighter of Laila Ali?" And he go,
Mm,
yeah, you got me there. I said, "But I thought you was a Laila Ali fan.
mm.
You tell me you ain't never watched a girl fight? They all over on YouTube. You don't know which one your favorite?" I said, "Is it Vonda Ward? Is it Jackie Frazier? Who's your favorite fighter of hers?
You know what I
Christy
find?
Martin?"
Do you know what I find, Clarissa, is that people aren't entirely like they're not boxing fans. They're the
Yeah.
fan of one person.
See, I like to come with the facts. I like to play with the numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to play with. I know a lot of information about boxing. So when people come and they come with, "Oh, this fighter do this, and oh, this fighter," it has some Cecilia fans, who got on and saying some stuff about what she'll do and what she won't do, and all this stuff like that. And I'm just like, look, I'm gonna let you be entitled to your opinion, but just know that I'm entitled to mine. I'm gonna back them up with facts. And a lot of the fighters don't be having facts, but you're totally right, like about that. Like there are some Triple G fans who believe that he beat Canelo every fight, and there are some fans that believe that Canelo won every fight against Triple G. And me being a real boxing fan and a fan of both guys, I can respectfully say that Triple G, hands down, won the second fight,
Mm-hmm.
and Canelo, hands down, won the no. Triple G won the first fight,
Mm-hmm.
and Canelo won the second fight, hands down. Now to see where they're at now, I really have to watch the fight and I judge it round by round, and just like being fair. But there are some people who just can't put their biases to the side.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is. And it's okay. It's okay if people just say it. Look, I just don't like so and so. Cool, fine, fair enough. But if you're gonna actually
That's all I want.
debate,
That's what I want from people. Look, I like to keep it real with people. If you don't like me, just say it. I hate these pretend people.
Mhm.
They pretend, "Oh, I don't like you because of this, and I don't like you because of that, because of certain stuff I said or something that I did." And I'm like, look, this is how I look at it. It got plenty of people who I like who have done and said things that I don't like. And it's either I like that person or I don't. It got some people that they can do whatever in the world and you will still like them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You understand? So it's like, for me, if you like me as a person or whatever, no matter what I do, your interpretation of me will never change. I'm a person that I love and I like Adrian Broner.
Mm-hmm.
He do a lot of stupid stuff. He do a lot of out of character stuff. But whenever I see Adrian Broner, I always embrace him with a hug, a hello. I laugh with him. We done took a shot together. I mean, this dude is like, he talks so much trash and he get in so much trouble, but he is somebody who I literally like, man, this dude is a good guy at heart. And no matter what he do, I'm like, Adrian Broner is a cool dude to me.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about people. Like, if you don't like me, don't like me. If you do, you do. But don't try to pick, "Oh, I liked you before you start calling yourself the GOAT. I liked you before you start calling out Laila Ali. I liked you before you start going up and down up in the divisions fighting against the best girls. I liked you when you were just in one." People got all these stipulations.
Yeah.
And my thing is like, I don't care if you like me or not. Just pick one. That's all. That's it. Pick one.
Yeah, just make up your mind already. I know, I get it.
Please.
It's crazy, but it's true. Sometimes it's just not even worth, getting into arguments with people about stuff, especially when they're not even trying to listen. They already have their mind made up. Because it's one thing to have a debate because you're open to being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
A healthy debate means you might be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But if you're going into it like, no matter what I say, you wrong, then it's pointless. It's like talking to a wall right there. Like, I just don't got time for it. You got that strength about you though. Like you have that, it's water off a duck's ass sort of mentality.
I've never heard that saying before, but it sounds cool as fuck.
Water
Never heard that.
You've said before that boxing is what I do, but it's not who I am. Who are you? How would you describe yourself when they say, "Who is Claressa Shields?"
Well, I'm actually still figuring that out. I've got a lot of interest in being a fitness trainer. I
Mhm.
like to help people,
Mhm.
help them stay motivated to work out, help them stay motivated to eat healthy, have a better life. And I really begin getting into that stuff on on my Instagram and my YouTube channel that I just got up and running.
Mhm.
And I've been loving it. I go Instagram live and I've been letting my fans come on. I have workouts, about a 30-minute workout for us. Click about 6 or 7 different people and I go live and do workouts with them. And just seeing everybody so happy to be working out and to be talking with me and to be losing weight at the same time and just learning. To me, that's something that I like. So I know that I like teaching people. I like motivating people. And I think overall, I'm just a strong person. When I say, boxing is what I do, but I'm a strong person, an independent person,
Mhm.
a motivating person, and just a teacher. I think that that's how I can sum it up right now. But overall, I'm a really, really good person. I'm way nicer than what people give me credit for. But boxing will always be the first thing that people think about when they think of me because that's just is what I do. But people get it confused because that's not who I am. And something I can say too, like I'm very competitive no matter what it is. So people also take that the wrong way and run with it and kind of try to paint it out to be, oh, she's just a boxer and wants to beat everybody up, and it's like that, like they don't want to use words like legacy,
Mhm.
uh words like being undisputed, words like being the best. They always leave those words out when it comes to me, and they use the negative words that talk about being competitive and being the best.
So, like, do you feel that you have support from other women, or do you actually feel like it's the opposite?
As far as in the women that came before me, as far as in boxing, no. Um, they've always been kind of, I don't know, kind of weird about how they speak about me. They speak about me, as far as in nobody wants to talk about the good things of how great of a fighter I am. Like
Mhm.
they'll speak about it, but in a negative way. I never had any real like real support from any of the women before me. I don't feel like. I know that Lucia Riker is very very nice to me and always has been kind. Christy Martin had her moments. Laila Ali had her moments, I guess. But I feel like the women who are in boxing at like right now, I feel like we all have that equal support of each other. And I feel like I can say women like Heather Hardy, Frenchon Cruz, Amanda Serrano,
You can give
Melissa
each other
St.
credit.
Ville.
You can give each other
Yeah,
credit. Yeah.
we can give each other credit, and we can also me and Frenchon, I feel like is one of the most awkwardest friends ever. Like we're actually super close, right? And I fought her the most amount of times than any girl I've ever fought. We fought 5 times now, 4 times in the amateurs, 1 time in a pro, and we still could potentially fight in the future. But I'm like super like team Franchon Cruz, no matter who she's fighting against, and I'm and she's team Sheilds, no matter who I'm fighting against. And somehow we have this very, very strong respect and strong friendship, knowing that one day we're going to be the women's fight of the century because we may end up clashing together again, for world title fights and stuff. So um, it's some respect, but I feel like me in general,
Mhm.
I get props from any male world champion who boxes right now.
Mhm.
And I mean, from both Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. All those guys give me the utmost respect and speak very highly of my skills and very highly of me being a boxer. Earl Spence, same thing. Andre Berto, Andre Ward, Andre Durrell, Anthony Durrell, Shakur Stevenson, Terrence Crawford. All those boxers, any top male boxer you can think of right now in this time gives me the utmost respect of being a fighter and support me 99 out of 100. I mean, even if we cross over to MMA and Johnny Bones, give me the utmost respect. Look at me as a legend. Is grateful for my legacy and gives me a lot of support. So I'm like, oh, sometimes I'm overjoyed with all the support that I get being a woman fighter. And I don't really even look at the women who come before me who don't give me that respect. You know, it's more like I don't even care. But I know there's a lot of people in the world who are great who give me a lot of respect. And I forgot an important name: Roy Jones, Evander Holyfield. Those guys, like, they can actually see me box and be like, wow. You know, and that's something that's been like super inspirational for me just in my career, being able to talk with those guys and fight in front of those guys. And Sugar Ray Leonard, I got so many people I can name, but just to be able to fight in front of them, and then after the fight, they come up and they talk to me like, you did one of my moves. You got a good jab. Your jab like mine. You got a hook like mine. And to hear that kind of stuff for me, it was like, so I guess I don't box like a girl. Cool.
What's the deal? What's the status right now of the Laila Ali situation? I know that I saw an interview you had done like 2 weeks ago with TMZ Sports. You know, what's the status? Is there any update?
I seen Laila Ali on WBC boxing thing on Zoom. And of course, Mauricio asked her about, you know, me, can you plug it up? Me and her fighting and all this other stuff. And then she goes on this whole little rant about how she would have to train and how she would have to get ready and how the money would have to be there and how she needed about a year of training and stuff like that. And I just kind of looked at it as a whole lot of excuses. And for her to say that I'm not a talented fighter and I'm not really that good, for her to need a whole year to get ready, I feel like she just kind of using my name for clout and to stay relevant in the boxing world because it's popping right now for women's boxing. And I feel like she feels that she's somewhat entitled to that relevance and that attention because of her past, her being a boxer, her being Muhammad Ali's daughter. And the truth is, she's not, because respectfully, when it was her time, it was her time, nobody else's. And now that it's my time and the other women's time who are boxing right now. So I've actually been like, some people like, I refuse to keep going on and on and on about it.
Yeah.
About her. You know, I wish her the best in whatever she got going on, so many of her businesses, you know, her cooking channel, her cooking book and everything.
Do you think
I just wish her the best with that.
Is it realistic? Like, do you think that it's just something people should just get over and let's just move on to the next topic? Or do you really think that can be possible? Because I did hear, I don't know how true this is, but I did hear that she was asking somewhere around the range of $5 million for the fight. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But where have you seen when have you ever seen a woman boxer get paid $1 million? You know, and that's where my whole thing is like, you have to make logical of the numbers and of the sense, and we don't know what women's boxing can do. I feel like we should just fight on pay-per-view, whatever the pay-per-view numbers are, 200, 300, 400, 500,000 views, and we split that down the middle and go on about our day. And that's me being generous, because I can really say 60-40 because I'm the reigning champ. I'm the 3-time division world champ, not her, right? But that's what I would do to make the fight happen. But is it realistic? Sure. But in a way it's not, because of just the excuses that I've heard, you know, about, you know, just this long rant of her age and her having to be in shape. And then she says all that stuff, and then she says, but regardless, if I do have that stuff or if I don't train, I can still beat her. But I have to have this, that, and that, because I'm a very calculated person and all the other stuff. And, you know, for me, it just was like, for me, honestly, I have bigger plans that I have going on right now. I'm going to focus on the women who are actually not in retirement. And, you know, I would love to get a fight with Cecilia Bráchez. My next fight is against Marie-Eve Dicaire to become undisputed at 154 pounds. I would love to fight against Hannah Gabriels again. I would love to fight against Layla McCarter. I would love to fight against...
What about MMA?
MMA is definitely going to happen. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen. I just can't put the timing on it because there's so much more stuff I want to do in boxing, which is like one day it's like it's not really a lot of opportunities because you look at who you can fight and the girls turning you down and a whole bunch of other stuff. But then, you know, I look at how I can go from 154 back up to 168, possibly 175. And I just see like so many different, you know, fights and things that I can have. But I do want to try my luck in MMA. And I would love to go to 168 and, you know, have a nice little tussle with Alejandra Jimenez. You know, even though she's a PED user, you know, we'll have her get the drug test and everything, and I'm going there and beat her ass. You know, I love to do that. I'll, of course, want to fight against Savannah Marshall whenever they're ready for that fight. It's just so many things, you know, that I want to do. So, like, I can actually focus on the fighters right now. I don't have to. I'm going to make $1 million without Laila Ali, you know, just in my own career, you know, and she can't say the same. She can't say the same about me. If she doesn't fight me, there aren't anybody going to be offering millions of dollars for her to come out of retirement and fight. Nobody's even going to, like, people are thinking about it now, but definitely, like, if she says, oh, I'm come out of retirement, but I want to fight against Savannah Marshall, I want to fight against Franchon Cruz, I want to fight against any other girls, nobody's going to offer her $1 million, $5 million, nothing, you know, and it's definitely not going to be pay-per-view, I don't think. So I'll make my money in boxing without her, you know. So that's why I say I wish her luck in whatever she does. If the fight becomes real, that's really on. It's really all about her at this point. It's really not me because I'm the active fighter. I'm active. I'm fighting. So it's about her. So it's about what she do from now on. Not really about anything I say or do. She knows I want to fight her. And that's it. She knows I want to fight her. She knows I will fight her. And now the ball's in her court. It's all about if she's going to spend that year of getting ready, if she's actually going to make that coming out of retirement statement, and then people are going to see that she's actually being serious about this fighting, because a lot of people who are high up in business don't know if she's serious or not.
Well, Claressa, I appreciate your time. It was nice talking to you. It's always great chatting with you.
Yeah, same. I can't wait to see how you cut all this up and what's the headline for this one. It's going to be hilarious.
No, I think I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do 1 about your life story. It'll be 2 will be about the quarantine house, and 3 will be dating talk between you and I.
Okay. Easy work.
Hey, my fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else